So we'll start by the Mishnah of Hey Amid Aleph. Ezahi Gedola. So the Mishnah starts with is a second Mishnah in the Parak, in the Masechta. Ezahi Gedola. What is considered a big city? Why does it make a difference? Because we have different halachas of a big city, of a village, of a walled city. So the Mishnah says, Ezahi Gedola, which is what is considered a big city. Kol sheyesh ba asar batlanim. A city that has 10 batlanim, 10 people who are always available to be mashlim and minyan, that's considered a big city. If they have less than that, then it's either a town or a village or a small city. Be'elu amru. In these, it says, Makdimin, v'loi ma'achrin. In a kvar, in these, city or town that's smaller than a big city, it doesn't have asar batlanim, so they're Makdimin, not ma'achrin. They could read from the 11th to the 13th, till the 14th is, in essence, they could read from the 11th. But these situations were not postponed. We don't read after the 15th. Aval, Zman Atzei Kehanim B'Tisha B'Av Chagiga V'Hakel Ma'achrim V'Loi Makdimin. But the time of Atzei Kehanim or Tisha B'Av, does anybody know when Tisha B'Av falls out on Purim?
Not sure. What's the Tisha B'Av part?
Tisha B'Av falls out on Shabbos.
It's nothing to do with Purim. It's just other times that we discussed about when you could push off the time of the mitzvah forward or backward. So Atzei Kehanim, the wood of the Kehanim of the carbon that we talk about in Masechet Tainus, the Tisha B'Av, and the time of Tisha B'Av, right? So if Tisha B'Av falls out on a day that would get pushed off, for instance Shabbos, I think it's the only time that we get Tisha B'Av would get pushed off, right? Chagiga, like we have now, Tisha B'Av could fall out on Shabbos. Shabbos is very rare, but it happens just this past year or 2 years ago. We just had Tisha B'Av. When was it? It was a few years ago? Right, so it gets pushed off. The fast gets pushed off. Chagiga, v'hakel, ma'achrin v'loi makdim. All these mitzvahs get pushed off. We push it to later, and you're not makdim. Afal pisha amru makdimin v'loi ma'achrin. When it comes to Megillah, even though we said that we're makdimin, that we started earlier v'loi ma'achrin, and we don't do it later on, mutarim behesped uvetainis. It is mutter to have a hesped for somebody or for a tainus, because on Purim we know you cannot fast. Matanis lavyonim. And you can also be mekayim the mitzvah matanis lavyonim by giving money to the poor people. Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says, Eimosai, when what? When can the kfarim read earlier? When are when can the villages read before the 14th, earlier? Only in a place where they gather on Mondays and Thursdays. But in a place where they don't gather on Mondays or on Thursdays, we only
Shabbos?
Say what?
Does that include Shabbos?
No. Shabbos we have Rabbah. With Shabbos we have that Rabbah, the Gzeira, Shemi Eflenim, B'yadeh. So Shabbos we never.
No, this makes sense because
Right, because the whole thing that you're pushing it to Sheni or Chamishi is because there's already a minyan over there,
right.
Getting together, and people are coming there anyways to get together, or because the people bring food, so that they're anyways Mondays and Thursdays. So that's the Mishnah. Okay, I have to at least start the Gemara. Tana Asar Batlonin Shebebeis HaKnesses. The Mishnah said Asar Batlonin that were in the shul, in the synagogue. Be'elu Amru, right? So our nusach says Asar Batlonin, but the actual lashon that they had was Asar Batlonin in the basement. Not just that they had people who were Batlonim, they had a specific, they were mevatel from their work, and specifically in the shul. Be'elu amru makdimim v'loy ma'achen. My timer. What's the reason? What's the reason that we could read it early and we can't read it later? Amar Rabbi Abba, Amar Shmuel. Amar Kro, Rabbi Abba said the name Shmuel. Because the Pasuk says, V'loy Ya'avor. In the Pasuk of Megillah that we're talking about when we read the Megillah, when we celebrate Purim, it says, on these days, on Yudal Tesvav, V'loy Ya'avor, and you should not pass. You shouldn't pass these days. Tesvav. You shouldn't pass Tesvav. V'am Rabbi Abba Amar Shmuel. Another member from Rabbi Abba Amar Shmuel, nothing to do with this. Minayin she'ein moinim yomim l'shanim. From where do we know that when you're counting how long a year is, we still have this notion of the year, the way we count in the Goyish calendar, the Gregorian calendar, I think it's called. So we have 365 days equals a year. In the way we count, in a Yidden count, it has to do with 12 months. So 12 months is a year. There's no specific amount of days that equals to a year. Shenema, the Pasuk says, L'chodshei hashana, the months of a year. Chadoshim atamoyna l'shanim. Months add up to a year. V'i atamoyna yomim l'shanim. But you cannot count days. There's no specific amount of days that count up to a year. V'rabbanim de Kesari, Meshum Rabbi Abba Omru. And the Rabbanim from Kesari, I'm sorry, I don't know if that's Kesari, it might be a different place, said in the name of Rabbi Abba, Minayin she'im echashun shoes l'chadoshim shenema. Nocha azach, that we don't reckon hours to a month. There's no specific hours to a month, because it says ad chodesh yomim, till a month of days. That's what the pasuk says. The pasuk says when it's talking about a month, it talks about a month of days. A days equal a month. Yomim ato mechashev l'chadoshim. Days could be computed, could add up to a month. V'ato machshev shoes l'chadoshim.